Okay, hello everyone, and thanks for clicking play on my video. All right, so this is going to be the video that goes on top of the Patreon feed post about aRC-TeK, and I thought instead of writing a big long post about it, maybe I would just try and do a quick video to talk through it. So yeah, let's try that. This is my PDF that you will be able to download from underneath this video. It's sort of laid out like it's a trifold pamphlet, but if you think about it, three pages can't, three sides of paper can't be a trifold pamphlet, but whatever. So I've sort of dumped a bit of the background on here. Basically, the concept of this is sort of inspired by a few things. One of them is, of course, the whole detection and sneaking mechanic in aRC-TeK as we know and love it. And of course that kind of applies to submarine warfare. So I had decided, maybe each of the player characters is in one mini futuristic submersible themselves. Or you could have two, or you could put the whole party in the same vehicle if you pay for it with the spaces later, which would have some advantages. Different people could do different checks maybe. But anyway, yeah, and the idea is these. I probably shouldn't zoom things in. Precursor sites, but it's dungeons, right? You get your dungeon map and you pretend it's underwater. And then the idea is that you are working for this team that gets sent out by, I've called them aRC-TeK mainly so that the initials aRC-TeK are in the thing. And I visualize that as sort of an XCOM style outfit that goes and explores things. And there were these aliens a long time ago, and down in the cold depths of the Arctic, I've done it again, they have left their old installations. And so you go down level by level using your D&D maps and just essentially having a fun submarine game like that. But instead of, as we'll get to, dwellers, these constructs and creatures are studied and recorded in a recognition guide referred to by crews as the monster manual, and each one has a reporting name. That's like the NATO reporting name of Soviet aircraft, like the Flanker. It's actually the Sukhoi 27 that used to have different names for different aircraft, because when you first see a fighter plane flying out of Russia, you don't know what it is, so you give it a recognition reporting name. Same idea here, but of course we take things like Goblin or Kobold or even Bandit, as we'll see later, and make that into the code name, and suddenly your fantasy dungeon has become an alien thing. Development down here probably shouldn't be on this page, but I needed a space for it, so I'll come back to that later. Tests are the same as in aRC-TeK. Roll 1d20 and get equal or less. Contests are also like an aRC-TeK. They are the blackjack method, or the Pendragon method if you prefer. So highest without going over is the winner. Although I've added if both fail, highest roll wins. I think I need to add that to the aRC-TeK main text and setup. So crew, roll for your skill and your nerve. And then you also create a little submarine for yourself. So that has a bunch of hull points, which are your hit points. Size is inverse to that. And then you have supply dice of heat and noise. So a while ago, there was a game jam for Ollie Jeffrey's game Night Rain, which I didn't end up submitting something for because I ended up having to go do lots of day job work in the middle of it. But my idea for that was sort of inspired by the Arctic merchant fleets that went during World War II. Forgot what that was called. Z boats? Is that what they were called? And so that would have a mechanism where, yeah, you had to keep your steam up because they were going to be steamships in the sort of Night Rain setting. But of course, when your boiler's going, it makes you noisier. Similarly here, you have a noise die that makes life more difficult for you when you do things. But sometimes you need to be noisy because you want to keep your heat above 0 so you don't die. Now, hence that's the Arctic bit, right? It's the deadly cold down there. So we've got a whole bunch of actions down here. Grab things, detect things, moving breaks, contact effectively, but of course you still know roughly where someone could be. Attack locked on target. That's a direct damage roll, a la Into the Odd and aRC-TeK. Run silence, how you drop your noise, but you have to roll your heat supply die because you're sitting there doing nothing, so the heat from your generators is going to drop. Power life support is the opposite thing. If you're running out of heat, you've got to increase your noise. And relay location, just tell everyone where something is. And initiative, if I've not really explained here, if you played aRC-TeK, then you know it's the thing with the cards. Although no Joker in this one. and end of turn, you roll your heat die, and so on. And yeah, 0 HP, there's a chance you can surface, and you've got a couple of saves you can do to do that. And then finally, yeah, I did my little extract from the monster manual bit, and a sort of explanation that almost nobody reading this will need, but I did take the opportunity to reclassify the meaning of things like AC and HD. And what else have we got? Oh, and then getting sort of gear for your sub or for yourself, and repairing your sub, and equipment and supplies. So you do have to pay for your rations on the aRC-TeK base, which means you cannot just sit around for ages waiting for things to get fixed. And then finally, development, that's your XP, and you can increase your attributes by paying through the nose in XP that you've acquired from collecting the treasure. The treasure, by the way, is also rated in GP generative potential, which reminds you that is the other thing this is inspired by, is roadside picnic. So you're underwater stalkers, but you're also kind of in XCOM. Yeah, that's it. Now, of course, this is almost entirely untested, especially those numbers for like XP expenditures and things. That's I mean, gold. The costs of stuff for resupply are from OSE or possibly Blueholme. I can't remember, but it's that kind of D&D expenditure. So that should be about right, because it's mapped to the BX D&D XP and treasure amounts. But the development for the player characters, hard to say. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for sitting through this. I've now been running for 6 minutes and 42 seconds. That is way too long. This should have been 3 minutes or less, but never mind. I'm not going to edit it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look, I can make myself big again. All right. Yeah, that's it.